Hey guys, I'm Dr. Kim Sage, and today's video is all about the many ways we can isolate if we have come from a more complicated or complex childhood, with or without some degrees of trauma. So today's video will discuss what I think are the top 5 reasons why we isolate, why we often withdraw even if we are right in the room with you, and why in general at our core we can have this swing of anxious and avoidant tendencies in terms of attachment. So at the end of this video, I hope you'll know more about why you might do that, why you never feel you can get totally, fully, and freely close to someone. So let's get started and discuss the 5 reasons why I think we do that. And I'm gonna make some little short videos going into each one after this. And really quickly, please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell if you want to get notified of when I post new videos. I'm going to try a new format this next couple weeks. I'm curious to see what you think, to post much less edited but much shorter videos, just really attacking some target points. And so I'm going to play around with my format, and please feel free to let me know what you think. I'm trying to find ways to create more content more often, and working full time, which is a true blessing, but it's also making it difficult, and I have so many things I want to share with you guys, so please let me know, and I'm welcome to your suggestions. Okay, now we might isolate in anything from literally being alone a lot, just trusting our animals or maybe our children, or it might mean that we might be in relationships or in social environments, but at the core there's a barrier or a wall between us and the rest of the world. And that's often because in certain childhoods we learn a couple things. One is that the world is not safe, and oftentimes there's a reason for that, and that has to do often with me, the person who's suffering. And also that there are certain ways to keep myself safe, and they often mean that I can only rely upon myself. And so that manifests in a bunch of ways. And so this video is about the things we often do to isolate, whether they are low-key isolating behaviors, like I said, like being with someone but never fully bringing our true selves and holding that wall, or truly finding that people and the world is so much that we need to spend a majority of time, on our own in isolation to deal with it. And so I think some of the top 5 reasons why we do that are that we often find that, number 1, we are highly self-critical, and so we're not good enough, and we're always sort of carrying around that lack of worthiness and that I am bad or something's wrong with me dynamic. And that acts as a barrier because I don't think I'm good enough. I'm never going to even risk exposing who I really am to you as a person. Number 2 is that I often believe that you're not good enough either. And so that's the outer critic, where I've learned that the world's not safe. I'm often hypervigilant and looking for people to disappoint me or for me to not be good enough. And so the combination of both of us also acts as a barrier, and that's that classic outer critic. The next thing is we're often auto-regulators. And what does that mean? That goes back often to avoidant attachment, where we often learn to deactivate our attachment needs. And so we often realize as young children that either our parents made us cry it out too much, or they just couldn't be emotionally present, or they weren't physically present, or, all of the above and more. And so we learn to take care of our own needs. And oftentimes those with introversion oftentimes need that sort of self-alone time to regulate, but even extroverts can do the same thing, where we learn to take care of our own needs. And so we never really, lean in or allow or trust anyone else to help regulate us. And we often have to remove ourselves literally just to do so. The next 2 are that we are often easily triggered. People are triggering. And whether they're, don't mean to be or not, they just are. And so we have a very sensitive response system. All of us are walking around with our autonomic nervous systems on guard. But when you have a certain childhood where you were hypervigilant, meaning you had to always be scanning for safety, whether it was emotional safety or physical safety or neglect and things like that, you're just always prepared to act. And that need to prepare to act and or to deal with that sense of being defective, as in the inner and outer critic, often has us fall into our trauma types, meaning that we go into our autonomic nervous system responses that helped us survive. So we go into fight, flight, freeze, often called fawn, collapse, submit. I just discussed these in some detail. I'm going to make more videos in this video on dissociation. But if I'm busy responding to that response in terms of my fight or flight pattern, let's say, that is not going to allow me to be engaged and attuned to you, or to even want to necessarily be present. I might need to do that also in my own auto-regulated way, and or just dissociate and go into that other response, which also really isolates me on some level from deep connection and relationship. The last one is that at the core, we often believe, as I said, that no one is safe. That if you can't really trust a caregiver to be there for you, how could I trust anyone else? And so we're always scanning for that sense that at any moment we'll be on our own, and that no one can really be trusted, or no one is truly safe psychologically, physically, or emotionally. And if that's the operating principle, then I'm not going to be able to be truly who I am meant to be with you. I'm going to have my guard up, knowing that at any moment I need to fall back into those mechanisms to protect myself. So those are the top 5, I think, why we often isolate, and the way it plays out, like I said, might truly vary. As I talk more about this avoidant tendency, also know there's often an anxious component too. We often have these mixed attachment dynamics with anxious and avoidant, because on the one hand, we really needed that security and safety, and with a parent who maybe was unpredictable or unsafe, that anxiousness might really be deeply wired, but also the avoidance helped us protect ourselves and remove ourselves and deactivate our needs. And so I think you can see that play out a lot more with those who have Cptsd. So I'll post more about that in the next few videos, but thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing, clicking the bell, and that way you get notified when I post new videos. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.